Okay, welcome to the channel, guys. If you haven't liked and subscribed yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. You're gonna get loads of valuable, unfiltered information here, right? There's no bull C or whatever, you know what I mean, right? So I've got to start toning down on my language because I've been told that my language is not that good. Unfortunately, I've got a foul mouth, so you know, being brought up on the streets, you gotta be understanding. Right, anyway, we're gonna cut all of that. Go to so if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe, like, share, value, and then let's get into the video today. So today's question was asked by a brother, a very good viewer of mine. So he was always asking questions on YouTube and this and that, and I found him to be very interesting. And I said, you know what, come and talk to me in one of my groups and this and that. I've shared my personal number with him, and today he's still asking me very lovely questions. So I feel that, you know, I can answer these questions and also bring it to the community and the thing. So I've got I asked him to send me a note. So he sent it to me. And he's asked me a question, very simple question. So I'll read the question out to you so you understand. He said, all in layman's terms with examples, please. I'm really okay, that's fine. What are smart contracts? Who uses them? The example, gas fees, etc. A typical scenario, how Khurram, so this is Khurram, for example, would use Ethereum. So how would Khurram use Ethereum? That's a very fascinating question. I'll answer that. And they say something built on Ethereum blockchain, or that blockchain, what does that mean? Who built it and what sort of cost is involved, right? Thanks, hope you get my question. I've got your question and I think it's a brilliant question. I think this whole video deserves an answer for all of those questions you put in. And I think it will help the whole community understand a lot more as well and kind of broaden their little, broaden their mindsets and everything. Brilliant question, brilliant question. So without any further ado, let's go straight into it. I'm not going to cut this video, by the way, just as it is, right? I'm just recording it right now. I've got the laptop here. I'm not going to view anything on the laptop. There's nothing for me to show here. I'm not going to do anything. I've got my microphone, I've got my camera here, and I've got my notes here. That's it. Right. And not even notes. I'll show you. I'm not even joking. This is a message. It's not a note, right? Literally, I'm just using his message. I'm not making notes here. So I hope you guys understand here. I don't do scripts. I've been thinking about doing it, but you know, it's too much work. I'll be honest with you. I'm not into this production stuff yet. Maybe one day when I have a team or something. So without any further ado, let's go straight into the conversation. Okay. Smart contracts. So before I get into the smart contract, I want to explain where the whole idea and everything came out from. So as we all know, the number one cryptocurrency in the world is Bitcoin, but Bitcoin does not have smart contract functionality yet. There are people thinking about doing it at some point, but does not have it yet. We know historically people have up to now, I think it was 36,000 times Bitcoin has been cloned, and somebody's tried to improve something and all of them have failed, right? You know, some of them survive, some of them don't, but they're like, the ones that survived are more like cults. The only one that did do something and made the difference and actually survived and has done something, done an improvement which is unique, and I've mentioned it in many of my videos, is Monero. Monero did something very unique, right? They put in a privacy feature that allows for you to stay anonymous or your transactions to be anonymous, which is what Bitcoin was supposed to do. But Bitcoin, as we all know, and I've talked about many times, Bitcoin is as transparent as it gets. Of course, you don't know who the person is, but you can see everything on the blockchain. So I hope that kind of clears that part, right? So then let's move over to the evolution, right? So you have a bunch of guys who look at Bitcoin, who see the problem of Bitcoin, and who say, well, we don't have to fork this. Why can't we make our own blockchain? Right? So what they did, they come along together, and these guys have background in coding and also in blockchain and this and that. So from that, they come together and they create what's known as Ethereum today. Ethereum has its flaws, so obviously these guys break apart. So I'm just giving you a short story in between this, right? So Ethereum, the team breaks apart, and one of them we know is part of Cardano now, and another one is the founder of Polkadot. So one is a founder of Cardano, one is a founder of Polkadot, and the other is still the founder of Ethereum. So And I think he was about 18 or 19 when he was involved in it. A brilliant kid, right? So the point is, he's a man now, but he decided to play around with the code and say, well, what can we do with the code? I mean, we have the coin itself is currency, that's fine. But what if we can make other things happen with this code? What if we can add extra functions? We can tell it, right? And technically, just put a string of code and it will do an action. How can we do that? So with Ethereum came this smart contract functions, and you are able to build stuff on it. Now, originally, the smart contract wasn't to build currencies or platforms or anything. It was just a smart contract to make Ethereum do certain things as you will, right? So anything that you want. Some people figured out that you can literally take the smart contract and print a coin. I can't remember which was the first coin that came out. It was a long time ago, but I can't remember the first ever coin that was printed on the smart contract. So it's not a coin, it's a token. You can tokenize anything. But the general term people use is like altcoin. Now, it's not an altcoin, right? An altcoin is, so, if you want to be really literal, really literal, Bitcoin is a coin. Ethereum is a coin. Cardano is a coin. Polkadot is a coin. Avalanche is a coin. Binance is a coin. What do I mean by that? And there's many more, right? There's, a NEM, this, I can go around, like there's so many other. These are specific blockchains. So because they own a blockchain, they are a coin. Now, if you build a secondary layer protocol on top of that coin, then does it justify being a coin? No. The real term for it is a token. So we go to CoinMarketCap and we see we've got somewhere like 9,600 or 9,700. I'm sure there's plenty more. There's probably about 15,000 coins out there, but that's not the point. Sorry, 15,000 tokens out there. The point is CoinMarketCap will show you all of those, and we assume them to be coins. They're not. They're just tokens. Now, when you take a string of code and you say this function does this, and you tokenize it and say, well, when this function enters, and then the return will be this, that's tokenized. So once the tokenization came in, people realized that they could mint a specific amount. So whereas in Bitcoin and Ethereum, so Ethereum had an open protocol, it didn't have a defined number, right? It says, Bitcoin said we're going to have 21 million. So that's how many we're ever going to be. And the protocol is set this particular way. Ethereum says we're not going to have a certain number and we will print this much and give this much and then use some of the functions of Bitcoin, the methodology. Then the smart contracts came and says, well, actually, we can use this to print the whole amount. So if I want 100 million coin, I can say to the code, that's it, full and final 100 million coins. So people started utilizing that, and so many other coins, as we know, started to come out, but they're not coins, they're just tokenized assets or tokenized methodologies. So people start building on that. Now, when you start building on these, who are you sharing the blockchain with? There's a question, right? So a lot of the people, projects have started to launch their products. So they originally launched their product on Ethereum. And then what they did, when they got enough money together, they started developing their own blockchain and kind of branched out of that. But a lot of, they will share a lot of the information. Now, just kind of giving you a brief example of how it works, right? So I hope this makes sense. If it doesn't, look, put your thing in the comment and I'll get back to you. If you're in the group, then message me in the group and I'll let you know what's going on, right? So now, Bitcoin, obviously, we want to get to another part of Bitcoin, and we're comparing. Remember, we're comparing, and everybody's trying to solve the problem Bitcoin has. Bitcoin solved one problem, but Bitcoin had a few other problems with it. Problems not as such, but more of questions. Well, what if? And people are thinking about the future. What if Bitcoin is worth £1 million? If we still pay a 1% fee, then what would the fee be? Those are the arguments people are having, right? So there's plenty of other stuff. So Ethereum says, and then there's like, how many, the block size and all of that. So Ethereum says, we're going to do this much, we're going to do this much blockchain. I don't have my notes, so I can't tell you what it was. I think it was like 1,000 transactions per second or something. We're going to do this, and our block size is going to be this much. Fair play. Ethereum gets into a problem. Other blockchains that come after Ethereum try to resolve that as well. But ultimately, they all face the same thing, congestion. When you have a bottleneck, right? When everything's coming together, you have a bottleneck. It doesn't matter what blockchain you're on, you are going to have that issue, right? And it doesn't matter even if it's Visa or MasterCard, right? If everybody decides to use their Visa at the same time, well, guess what? MasterCard and Visa will have the exact same problem. So it doesn't matter how much your network you have, you're all going to have the same problem. So with Ethereum, what they did was they said, okay, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to have gas fees, which is basically Ethereum. You can increase and decrease. So if you want so with Bitcoin, you pay, it's a default. There's no setting up fees or whatever. I mean, there are some wallets that you can pay a little bit extra, but those are only some validators that do this, not all validators. By default, the validation was very simple. You send a Bitcoin, another person receives the Bitcoin, person in between validates it, job done. He receives a bit of Bitcoin. Happy days, right? Simple and clear. Those codes were modified and changed later on to monetize this. And kind of, they were picking and choosing. So this is kind of a little bit of a bureaucracy, right? Politics inside the industry. But leave that aside. Ethereum also had this as well. So Ethereum said, okay, you pay extra gas fees, you'll get done first and this and that. And that's what we're doing. So basically they were trying to say, what if we have massive people like big whales who want to move money faster than a blink of an eye, right? How do we do this? Well, pay extra. So again, it was a monetization. I think they're coming to realize this, and they're obviously with the new updates they're bringing in the future, they are going to change all of this, right? So this is what's happening. The EIP 1559, the few other protocols they're launching, they're all kind of tackling this particular issue. And then you have other blockchains who have emerged, so emerging blockchains who have come along, and they said, well, our fee is going to be this much. Litecoin is one of them. Our fee will be the cheapest. So it was fee-based. It wasn't so much of innovating the project. It was more to do with the fee, because the fee did become a concern. So everyone's trying to solve this problem, bring the fees down as much as possible. So that's what it was, right? So this is where the gas fee comes in. But by default, I mean, if you're not using a private wallet, then guess what? The gas fees and this fees and that fees and the politics doesn't matter to you. You can't go on an exchange and say, I'll pay extra. I'll give it. Doesn't. This is only something that matters to people who hold a lot of them, who believe in a lot of them, who are not there to make money, who are there for the longer term. For us, gas would matter if we want to move it from one wallet to another. Private wallet, by the way. Your wallet, the private wallet, means the one you own the seed phrase to, not the one on your exchange. Okay, that one is just different. And also, when it comes to exchanges, when they're doing your transaction for you, they're handling it, they're batching the transaction. So sometimes you might say, oh, but Ethereum says they will do it in 10 minutes. Fair play. Bitcoin says it can do it in 10 minutes. Fair play. But from an exchange, it took me 2 hours, or it took me 24 hours. Yes, that's because the exchange has a batch protocol. So what they do, they get everybody's together and they do it in one batch. So it's cheaper for them to do it that way. And they have other deals with miners to do these kind of things. So they'll have their own mining pools that they use just for this particular thing. So a broader thing you have to understand, right? So fees and this and that, whatever it is, they're always going to charge a flat fee. They probably pay even less than that. If they're batching it, they'll probably pay even less than that. So they'll probably still make some money out of fees. So exchange will do that. And by all means, right? I mean, they're there for money, right? End of the day, what are they there for? To facilitate you for nothing? Absolutely not. So they're going to make money every opportunity they get. And the miners are going to have some give and take. Obviously, if they got a big exchange and running $1 billion worth every day, of course, they're going to give them a nice little discount. So volume matters, right? So that's what it is. But as I said, as long as you're not dealing with thousands of Ethereum or thousands of other coins that run on the ERC20 smart contract, or even the ERC, I even forget that, the NFT protocol, it doesn't matter. You're not bothered about it. It doesn't bother you, right? So that's one thing I wanted to get away. So it matters for people who are running, who are sending stuff from their private wallet and who are sending large sums. So that's that, right? So a typical scenario of how you would use Ethereum. Ooh, that's a tough question. That's a tough question. I can tell you how I have used it. So what I've done is I've created a coin just for fun, but with a broader vision in mind, right? So I wanted to create a project which connects to one business to another and does all sorts of things, but also tokenizes it. So I wanted to use the tokenization. It's been around for years. It's proven the test of time. I wanted to do it. So I go around websites and everything, and I find all the best developers there are. And, you know, it's kind of like, you know, who do you choose? How do you find what references? And then you got all these guys who say, I done this work, I done that work. And then you go and you do the verification. It takes forever. And half the time you give up or you just take their word for it. And then you end up seeing this a scammer. So I eventually found someone pretty local. And I said, right, you know, you do it, and vetted him, verified him. And it's genuinely a thing. The guy was charging £1,000 a day. £1,000 a day. So I said, you know what? Fine, it's just for fun. Let's do it. So I forgot how many Ethereum I spent, but the point was I paid him in Ethereum, so it's not like I paid him cash. He built me the coin, and it worked. And then a few months later, he vanished as well. So I said, okay. So then I said, okay, I'm going to try it again. So second time, I'm doing more research. I've learned from the last time. I got burnt and this and that. My coin is useless. It's valueless. No one's used it. So the second time I went in, I said, right, I want to do it again. And this time my other project was ready as well. So I said, I've got 2 projects. This is what I've got. I want to connect them both together. So I'm speaking to the guy who developed my software. Can you do it? He's like, sorry, bro, I have no idea how this works. So he has no idea. So I'm in the dilemma of finding another person. So I find someone who said, yeah, I can connect it. Not an issue. I can do this. Boom, boom, boom. So come along when the time comes to, so he builds it. We test the protocol. We test everything. Everything works flawlessly. And then we're about to connect it. And guess what? The Ethereum developer disappears again. I said, oh, okay. So it doesn't matter what happens. Promises, promises, promises. Then, with me being me and like to digging around, I decided to go and dig out. And guess what I found? The whole Bitcoin, the whole Ethereum, pretty much every single one of them, apart from one or two coins, right? I can name them, but I don't want to. There's about 1 or 2 coins that do not have their code publicly available. Everything else has their code publicly and freely available. So, you know what? It doesn't cost anything. It only costs your time. If you're lazy like I was, because I was lazy. The first time I was late, I didn't do enough research. I went by the person and I said, physically, I see you're a good person. Let's do it. I got burned. Second time I did it. The guy looks all right, understood everything. Right at the last second, vanishes. Right? And remember, they always take some money up front. So looks can be deceiving. And then I found out that all of the code base is there. Every single smart contract that you could possibly want is actually for Ethereum is actually available. It's called the software is called Open Zeppelin, right? Every single code is there. You can just go and pull the code, stick it into whatever you want, and you don't even have to modify it. Just run it straight off there for free. Now, the free term would be a bit controversial because you do have to pay some fees. Right now, some people use if you use the test Ethereum, then it's free, obviously. But if you want to go live, of course, it's going to cost you some Ethereum to initiate this smart contract. But it totally depends on the network and totally depends on how much it will cost. But Ethereum, normally you can have one up and running for a few dollars. It totally depends on the market. So if the market's down a few dollars, if the market's going up, then obviously that portion of Ethereum is worth a lot more. So then it reflects on the price. So that's what you have to understand. What are you going to use it for, right? So with me, the project that I was going to do, it was a platform, an ordering software platform, right? Where you go in and it's like a Shopify. So what I wanted to do was, you know how Shopify charges you like a 3-tier system, right? They charge you a very basic amount, but they don't give you all the functionality, or they charge you a medium and then they give you some functionality, and they charge you a premium and they give you all the functionality. And it's costing hundreds of dollars, right, per month, or sometimes I think it's per month, hundreds of dollars for you to use it. It's expensive. So unless you're really successful, you can't. And the free version is just limited, right? So you can't do anything with it. So somebody wants to grow, they can't do it. So what I said, well, I want a platform where people can plug themselves in and they can use it by 2 ways. One, they can pay me per month a very small amount of money, right? And we said £20 or £28, I think it was £28. So it's like less than £1 a day. And if it's in another country, then it was valued in dollars. So it's like whatever your country's currency, we keep it there. The reason is because what we figured out is we don't have to run it off a central server. Now, a server in UK cost a certain amount of money, but a server in USA didn't cost that same amount of money, or a server in Asia didn't cost that amount of money. So if we can do an average and say that's how much we're going to charge, we can take a profit from that, and we can also power you running it off your local servers, right? So we have our backup server, which is the main server where the software runs, but ultimately everything else is running locally to you, your country's server. So if any server goes down, your country goes down, my whole other platforms don't. So it's a nationwide, national issue. So kind of giving you a bit of a secret here, but that's what we were doing. And what we said was the Stu method. You can pay the dollars or the pounds or whatever your country's currency is to us, and very cheap. It would be like 1/5 of what Shopify charges, because we're just taking the cost out. We're not trying to be a multi-billion-dollar company out here, right? So what we did, we said that's what we want to do. We want to keep it localized until we're ready to grow, or until we're ready to get investors. And I'm telling you, getting investors in is the worst thing, right? As soon as you get it, they just want to sell it and this and that, stock market, this, that. It's all about money. So we're not about money. We're about trying to power people for as cheap as possible. So that's what I did, right? But then the option 2 was to use cryptocurrency. Now that's where the magic happens. I said, well, if we connect this software with a cryptocurrency, and like most of the smart contracts, where smart contracts, you can compound them, you can, stake them, lock them, and earn farming and this and that. But why do we have to use any other exchange or any other platform to do that? Right? That's the argument I had. I said, it's great. We can sell it on Uniswap. We can sell it on Binance. We can sell it to Coinbase through them, right? But why do we need them if it's a utility token? So it's a token. It's a utility token, which you will use in the platform. So then what we do is we create a staking protocol in the platform. So if you stake a certain amount, right? So if it's $20, you stake $20 worth of this currency, right, into the platform, then guess what? You use it for free, because the platform does not ask you to renew, because you're already renewed. You're renewed non-stop because that value is there. Of course, there's a problem, right? What if the value drops? Well, then we said you only top it up a little bit more. But if you're saving $20 a month and you have to top up for another $2, is that harmful, right? Isn't that beneficial to you? But at the same time, because hundreds, if not thousands of people and merchants will be locking their staking, they're locking and staking their coin, because they can see we're going to use it totally for free. The coin itself, because it's less in supply, it starts to grow more in value. Now, when it grows more in value, well, guess what? You need less tokens to lock up. Now you can start reaping the benefit. So it was a built-in mechanism that we wanted to have. And funnily, we do have it right now. It's something we're working on. Still not finished. And we were going to launch it during, last year, actually. We were going to launch it. It was March. We were going to launch it in March. So the date was in March. I've got the whole conversation here somewhere. It was actually in March. But when we saw the market is going up in this, I said, no, it's not fair. Because the token itself, so this is another thing a lot of people don't realize. You can set up what price to accept for it. And our token were originally like $1 a piece. So we kept it like within $1. And then when the market started spiking, it kind of spiked the coin as well. So the coin itself is worth a lot more now. But it's not fair for us to ask somebody, or we don't even ask, by the way, the protocol. So when you go and you buy it, you can only buy it with Ethereum or USDC or any ERC20 basically. So you can only buy it with any ERC20 because it's an ERC20 token, right? Based on the Ethereum blockchain. Number one, you'll be paying a high amount of fee to do the transfer. Number two, you're going to pay too much for the coin than what it's actually worth, in our opinion, because we don't value it that high, right? So we said we're going to hold it back, and we're probably going to launch it in the bear market. So when it's the lowest, so people who enter will benefit eventually automatically during another bull run or whatever, or even if it's stable, then it's fine. As we just want it to be stable. So that's what I'm building, and that's what I can say basically how I would be using it, right? So I think your last section that you asked me, I've already answered it, right? Blockchains and this and that. Necessarily, everybody doesn't have to be running a blockchain. And if they do, then the blockchain is trying to solve the problem of the previous blockchain. That's all it is. Ultimately, we don't really need too many. And another question that I think I've answered it, right? we've got like 9,500, 10,000 coins, right? There's only about 300 or 400 blockchains, genuine coins, right? So they're all altcoins, right? Every one of them is a coin. And then you have 9.5, whatever thousand, or 9,000, just round it up to 9,000. These are tokens. These are actually running on the Ethereum protocol or running on another blockchain. Cardano's trying to do that. And that's what smart contract is. Smart contract is not a coin. So earlier on, you asked me a question. You said, what if a law firm wants to use it? They can use a smart contract. So for example, if you have a will that you don't want anybody to change it, you can use a smart contract to actually utilize that. And you have the key to that smart contract because you've got the seed phrase to that smart contract. You know that nobody can modify that will or anything. So say, for example, I leave a will for my children on a smart contract, then it's irreversible. It's not changeable. This also is the same protocol that you would use. I think it's the ERC 720 or something protocol. That would be the NFT protocol, non-fungible, right? So a will on a smart contract is non-fungible, right? Means that it can only be delivered to one person. But then you can also have a reversibility, what Matic does. Is it Matic? No, Engine. Engine does this, right? So Engine has its own version and it's actually launching its own blockchain very soon as well. I think it's called Infinity or Affinity or something like this. I can't remember. So much information out there, 9,000 coins. But the point is what Engine is doing. They're building an NFT platform where it's non-fungible. So that means, say, for example, you print a will or a land or a toy or a gun or whatever, right? Anything you build on the blockchain and you have it as a non-fungible, you pass it over to somebody else. That person can then, I forgot what the term is. So he can use that and he can melt it down. So think about it like a gold bar. So someone's passed a gold bar to you. Of course, you can't do anything with that gold bar. So think about your will as if, well, that's a will. What do I do with it? You can't break it down. But the will could contain all the information required. Then when it comes to the time where you want to cash out, you can literally melt it down and receive whatever amounts of worth of, Engine, Ethereum, whatever is pegged to. You can receive that in return. That's how NFTs, current NFTs don't work like that, but a lot of NFTs are coming like this. So this means you put your effort into something, it's locked. And then when you want to take it out, you melt it down and you take that the value back out again. So if something you built for $10 tomorrow is worth $10,000, then you can convert it and get your $10,000 out, and then that thing doesn't exist anymore, right? So pretty crazy, but that's kind of how the system works. How you can actually take and use it in a real world. I mean, there are people out there who have sold houses with using an ERC20 smart contract, or actually ERC 720 smart contract. I believe it is 720. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the point is, they're using the NFT protocol to buy and sell houses. It's just a simple product. It doesn't have to be a image of Google as most have been selling, right? All right, let's not go into that. But the point is you have this, and this means you have the private keys to this particular asset. That's yours. You own that. That's how beautiful it is. And of course, a lot of these governments and this and that are understanding a lot more about it. They're understanding a lot more, and they're like, okay, this is what this is. This is how this works. So definitely, we're going to get to, sorry, I'm just being distracted here because I've got so many messages coming. This is one of the reasons why I don't like looking at my phone. My phone's always on infinite silent. What was I saying? Yeah, people are buying and selling houses and all sorts and this and that. Of course, previously, prior to this, people in 2017 have bought houses with Bitcoin and this and that as well. But that, it's just a form of payment. And then after the payment is done, you obviously sign the normal deeds and everything. But nowadays, people are doing it via a smart contract. And it's actually quite good. Internationally, say for example, you want to sell a house here and somebody's like 5,000 miles away. You don't have the patience, times or anything to come here, and the person's asking for a fair price and you are willing to pay the fair price. As long as the person uploads his document on the blockchain, it's irreversible. So you on the other side could receive that, right? And you receive it in your wallet, which you own the private keys. So your private keys were never exposed. Now you officially own that piece of land. So those are real world case. I mean, it solves a lot of problems. Like for example, most of the community are from Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, right? And in our countries, we have all these issues with land. And this is why one of the reasons I'm not interested in, desi politics, right? So a lot of people have a lot of issues with land. Oh, this is my land, this is my land. Somebody comes and claims it and whatnot, and there's all sorts of drama. Well, guess what? If you could put the land on the blockchain with a smart contract, all the drama, all the problem is fixed. So, the question here is blockchain and cryptocurrency solving world problem? Yes, it's solving world politics, it's solving world financial issues, it's solving world disputes, it solves all sorts of, if you use it correctly. In fact, there is no non-correct way of using it. The only people non-correctively using cryptocurrency, right? And remember, we are a $2 trillion market cap, or assuming we're close to, compared to 125 trillion or something dollar cash system. Only a very small percentage use it for scams, but they get caught out. They use it for buying drugs, buying all sorts of other nefarious stuff, right? So those are a very small minority compared to the $1 trillion scams that you see. So, all the unfairness, blockchain changes it. So I'm a man of faith, right? But I say to people, I say, look, I'm not really that practicing. However, my belief system is very strong, and I find certain things, and I study all the time, and I find certain things in my holy scripture. And there was one, I can't remember which one. I'll find it another time if somebody wants to know. It's so hilarious. Well, I found it quite hilarious, but fascinating at the same time. There's a verse in the Holy Scripture that actually describes cryptocurrency, right? And so for me, I found it really fascinating. I was like, wow, okay, this is describing, most of the white papers that I've seen for genuine cryptocurrencies. It's hilarious, right? And including Bitcoin. Obviously, I'm a Bitcoin fan, so that's a different story. So I'm hoping this video, I'm not going to talk any longer because I can go on forever. I'm hoping this video helps a lot of people. And you find value. Unfortunately, I did say I wasn't going to cut the video, but I am going to cut it in 1 or 2 locations because there was a bit of a disturbance. But other than that, guys, hope you liked what you see. Like, share, subscribe, and I hope this kind of answers your question, bro. There's a lot you could do with smart contract. It will definitely change the unfairness in the world, and it will take away cheating. Right? Cheating is very important, and we're not allowed to cheat in our faith. And the same thing, cryptocurrency and smart contract takes away anybody cheat. And there's a verse in our holy book. I won't name it because just in case people say anything. But the point is there's a verse that clearly says, right, if you have somebody, bring them and let them be a witness to your transaction. It's a very powerful, and there's a funny fact. It's the longest verse, all right, and I'll name it Holy Quran. The longest verse in the Holy Quran is all about debt and loan. Debt and loan. The longest verse in the Holy Quran, right? Go and check it yourself. Go and verify the longest verse. And then look what it's telling you about witnesses and this and that and this and that. Bitcoin solves that. So I'll leave it there. I don't want to go too deep. I don't want to be connecting anything, but I hope this video was helpful, guys. See you later. Take care. Bye-bye.